Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Good evening to all the race fans out there. What we've got in store for you tonight is nothing less than monumental. We are live from Nashville Superspeedway, which is actually located in Lebanon. It's going to be about 20 miles away from Nashville, but it's going to be very close. It opened in April of 2001. It is a 1.33 mile track here with banking 14 degrees in the turns, going to be 9 degrees on the front stretch, 6 on the back stretch. It can hold 250,000 people in here, man. That is truly a spectacle. Ladies and gentlemen, my name, Mac Nelson. Joined alongside me is Emmett Crow. We are here in Nashville, the Tobacco Road Sim Racing Cup Series. Emmett, man, how are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing fine, Mac, and it's a pleasure to be here with you in Nashville, Music City, USA. And I mean, just think about everything that we had for so many years. You know, we've had so many iconic moments from the invocation given deemed as the NASCAR prayer to, you know, that prestigious trophy and Kyle Busch destroying that beautiful Les Paul painted by Sam Bass. And it's just, we're on concrete tonight, Max, so it's going to be interesting to see how the tires handle tonight as well.
Yes, sir, Emmett. We are in week number 10. We are halfway through this season of Next Gen Cup Racing. Once we conclude our race tonight, we are at Nashville, like previously stated. Format tonight going to be 140 laps. They've got 5 sets of tires to try to get the job done with only 50% fuel load in those NASCAR Next Gen NASCARs. Sorry. Next week, we are heading to Richmond. And with that being said, we'll bring up the schedule for the remainder of this season. On the right side of your screen, we go to Richmond next week. It's going to be Kansas, and then the Roval, and then the Auto Club. And then we start the chase, and it's going to be fantastic to see these drivers start to battle for that title when we start here at Martinsville.
Yeah, and then look at that. So after Dover, we take a week off. You know, a lot of these guys get to prep and get ready for these final 3 races of the chase. Going to be exciting as well, Mac. And I mean, what a diverse set of tracks. You know, going from the mile and a third here at Nashville to going to the short track of Richmond. Really looking forward to that and see who can get the job done here at Nashville. Can James McRae go 3 in a row? Well, no, not 3 in a row. 2 out of 3. 3 out of 4. That's what I meant. But it'll be interesting to see what happens for sure.
As we look at our starting grid, it's going to be Travis Everett in the number 13. He sits on pole. James McRae Going to be outside row number 1. GTE Rosari, Gary Braylon making up row number 2. Gary Braylon, defending champion. Brendan McLaughlin, Brad Harris, Ira Kohlhaas, Chris Toppings, Brandon Lopez, Scott Matthews going to make your way through the first 10. Then it goes James Johnson in the number 48 alongside Joe Bonner. What a story that will be. Chris Perry in P13, Curtis Preston, Casey Gross, John Smith, the 44, Blake Cannon, Patrick Millette, John Oliverio, and Chad Lancaster in the 02 will make up 11 through 20. Then we move to the rear of the grid. It's going to be Thomas McLaughlin with Kyler Adams in row number 11. And then our lovely race control, David Bush, going to be filling that spot in P23, even though he is not racing here tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Music City, but the cars are going to be what is roaring tonight. We are green here at Nashville. Fantastic start for GTE Rosario as well, Emmett. Look at him go around the high side there.
Yeah, using the outside line to get around Travis Everett for the moment. But the thing is, I guess Blake Cannon did not have a good qualifying as starting P14. That's going to be interesting to see him coming from the back tonight, Matt.
Yeah, I agree. As we get an up-close look at these cars, man, they sound beautiful when they're around a smaller track like this. I mean, it's still a big track, don't get me wrong, but nothing like a Daytona or a Talladega where the cars are literally a couple miles away from you, depending on where you are standing at the time. So, yeah, here at Nashville, man, maybe I'm biased, Emmett, because I am only 2 hours away from this track. So there might be a little bias going on there. I'm not going to deny it, but, I mean, this track, it's legendary. It's really, really cool.
Yeah, it's really cool, and it was laid vacant for so many years after the not the Xfinity, the O'Reilly Series and the Craftsman Truck Series took it off the schedule, and to see it back out here when we had the opening weekend when NASCAR was here was monumental, and now it's become one of the best events of the year for sure. But Max, something to keep. Oh, Chad Lancaster off track.
Yeah, Chad Lancaster going off track. He's actually going to have a little bit of a crash, it seems. So we'll take a look back at Chad Lancaster before we get too far into this race in the 02, part of Quantum Motorsports. Yeah, he's just going to have a little bit of a self-spin coming out of 2, and he's actually going to get into the front right of Kyler Adams.
Yeah, I just don't think there was anywhere for Adams to go, but keep an eye on this. James Johnson is in 12th, and Bonner's dropped down to 20th. Something's happened to Bonner. Was that Bonner that also hit him?
That is a very good question. We'll have to go back and take a look. You're right on board. Yeah, Joe Bonner got into the 12 of Chris Toppings, and as a result, the 48 of James Johnson's going to take a little bit of a spin. Going to nuke that first set of tires there on the 48, so if we're keeping score, which I do not condone by any means, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to be as professional and clean as possible anytime you are on a racing surface, whether it is real or simulated. Now that I got that out of the way for legal purposes, if we're keeping score tonight, it's 1-1, Emmett. I don't know. Joe Bonner, James Johnson, they're both kind of down right now.
Well, that's what I was about to say. I was about to put a circle. I wish I had a telestrator to mark it because, you know, if people remember, we talked to Joe Bonner last week, and he said he's coming for that 48. He said he may bump him, he may spin him. So keep an eye out on the 48 and the 22 as this race goes on, Mac.
Yeah, and also want to make it clear, they unfortunately have not got the information updated on the driver information app, but it is now LJG Racing. It is no longer LNG's Power Sports, so new name change there. Hopefully we can see that reflected in the driver information soon. But regardless, we are still yellow here. It's going to be our first caution of the night. Lap number 6. We're going 140 laps tonight, Emmett. And if you had to make, you know, a little short list of key takeaways for Nashville, how to be successful here, what are you thinking? How do you have to tackle it?
Well, you just got to manage your tires. I mean, this is...
Yeah, as we have a little bit of technical difficulties once again. I do apologize, but we are going to be getting things going back underway here. Going to be GTE Rezzeri in the number 14. He is going to stay out front right now as we look. James McRae going to be in P2. Travis Everett in P3. Brendan McLaughlin in P4. Gary Brayland going to be in P5. And now I want to bring up the championship standings here. James McRae is going to be leading this championship, 434 points, but Blake Cannon right behind him. It's only going to be a 5-point difference when you go back first to second. Travis Everett, this is where the slope starts to kind of drop off a little bit. Travis Everett still obviously within tons of range to make something happen even tonight, nonetheless, for the second half of the season. But then the gaps start to kind of show through a little bit. We've got 351 to GTE Rezzeri, 334 to Brandon Lopez. So, James McRae, Blake Cannon, Travis Everett, that's your three-headed horse here, Emmett.
Yeah, definitely, and that's what we've seen all through the season. Of course, James McRae just got hot at the right time. I mean, winning at Talladega and then winning at North Wilkesboro, but couldn't get it done last week after an unbelievable race. But yeah, it's really picking up. And Blake Cannon, you know, he came into the series as, I mean, the drivers all knew him, but the fans didn't. And look at where he is right now.
Yeah, he's doing, you know, well for himself. He's had some good results here in the Tobacco Road Cup Series. We are green flag running here again at Nashville. Going to be GTE Rezzeri. It has been all him through the laps that we have actually got completed here. It's not going to be a lot, but who knows? Maybe we're on the verge of a very long green flag run. I mean, it is Nashville. This is a pretty rhythmic track. If I had to, you know, put it into a category, I'd say it's probably flowy or rhythmic in the terms of once you get going, it's really hard to kind of break that composure, kind of break that line of margin. You get cruising around Nashville, and I mean, I feel like you can just go forever.
Yeah, definitely feel like you can go forever, and it's going to be interesting to see if Everett's able to get up there. You know who I don't see in the field tonight, though, Mac?
Who is that?
Lesko.
Oh, yes, Nate Lesko had a bit of a moment early on in the race last week. He finished P19. That's going to be dead last at Homestead. Clearly not a week for him, but on the side of GTE Rezzeri, it was a week for him. He finished the race in P3. He got that final step on the podium. He said he was going to try to keep that momentum coming here in Nashville, and man, he is doing that so far.
Yeah, I said he was, definitely. And, I mean, he's looking like, I mean, he's out there by himself. I mean, there's nobody that can catch him early on. And, ooh, Scott Matthews getting up on the back of Blake Cannon. Dove down there trying to get the draft.
Yeah, Scott Matthews looking to try to make a move on Blake Cannon. A few cars up, Casey Gross and Brandon Lopez. The 77 and the 5 are going to be going to battle. Fun little topic about Brandon Lopez in that number 5 Red Bull Camaro. He ran the most laps of any driver here in practice. I got into this session as soon as it opened. I got in here within the first 2 minutes. They have hour practices here before the qualifying. This guy was in here turning laps when I loaded in about 2.5 minutes into the session. So Brandon Lopez, he is only up 2 spots. He's in P7 right now, but man, I would be very surprised if I don't see him in the top 5 tonight.
Yeah, and then just keeping an eye out on our defending winner from last week, Blake Cannon from Homestead. You know, he's not had, I mean, it's still early on, and, you know, he had to get around his former teammate, and, oh, there's a caution.
Yeah, yellow flag in the air. Trying to look through. Looks like it might have been Scott Matthews. We'll come back and take a look here. The number 7. Oh! Yeah, he's going to get into the number 8 of Patrick Millette. Oh, no, and the GOAT. That's a very, very cool-looking livery for Millette. Sucks that it's these circumstances that make me admire it, but yeah, that's going to be big damage for the 7 and 8.
Yeah, big damage for sure, but I just want to talk about John Smith. You know, looking at John Smith, come off his best finish last week at Homestead of third. Is he second or third? I think
he was
might have been
second.
second.
He was
actually.
second. Yes.
Yeah, he was second. So John Smith riding that momentum and having another good run, running right now P11, but avoided that wreck, and that 47 car looking strong early on, Mac.
Yeah, I mean, he started P18, so to already make up all these spots in such a short amount of time is definitely something that should be talked about. More to the point, however, Casey Gross, talked about him for just a second. He currently sits behind defending champion Gary Braylon, but that Quantum Motorsports driver has gotten better and better every single week we've seen him out on the track.
Yeah, Casey Gross has really been doing good and doing double duty, running both the ECRL on Sundays, which you can catch here on Racer Nexus with our good buddy Adam Gladefeather. Hopefully he'll be back this week. Had a little sickness Sunday, so hopefully Adam will be back. But yeah, Casey Gross has really gotten better even in the Tobacco Road Series as this year's gone on.
Yeah, I've only had the pleasure of working with Adam one time, I believe it is, since I joined Racer Nexus a few months ago. Being that we're both mainly producers, you don't really, there's not really a bunch of crossover there. So, yeah, best of luck to Adam. Hope he gets better soon, if he's not already better. Hopefully he is, and hopefully he can return for that spectacular broadcast that you can catch here on the Racer Nexus YouTube channel, along with a bunch of series. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Emmett, I think we've got something going every single night of the week.
You know, I believe that is true. I know, yeah, Sunday, because, you know, our head honcho, Mr. Rob Campbell, he did the producing and lead announcing on Sunday, and that's what he was telling me. He said, well, I got to get ready for another broadcast Sunday night, and then, yeah, Monday night, Tuesday night, and now we're at Wednesday, and then there's also a race going on right now simultaneously. Can't say that word, Mac, but tonight, and then I believe tomorrow and Friday and Saturday as well.
Yeah, Friday I will be on commentary, special stage, the Pro Truck Series. You can catch myself producing only. You won't hear my voice anymore. No longer vocal voice of the special stage. It'll be good friend Zach Amspacher and James Watson, newly brought on to the Racer Nexus flagship. So you can catch that there. Saturday, I believe the Breaking Bad GT3 series is going to be streamed, which you can catch me driving in that. I've unfortunately had very bad luck in the first 3 weeks. I have not been able to catch any of the races. First one, I was in Vegas. Second and third one, I don't really know what I was doing, but I forgot. Life got in the way somehow. But this weekend, you might be able to see me make my Nobody Wants to See debut, because let me tell you, there's a reason I am in the booth, ladies and gentlemen. There's a reason I am not out on track more. But,
well, you got,
oh,
I was going to say, we did, I remember doing those races with you at the very start of the season for a little bit. Did some road course experience. It was fun.
Oh, yeah, dude. Oh, yeah, love me some road course racing, but we are set to begin racing here again at Nashville Super Speedway. Drivers coming into the Geico restart zone. We are green. It's going to be Travis Everett, who is up, out, and away. It is now going to be him leading instead of the 14 Mustang of GT Irizarry. Not too much Toyota Camry love on the grid, but your championship leader holding it down for the Toyota gang. As we get Joe Bonner with an off track, we'll have to go back and see what exactly happened there once we get a little more space to do so. But look at the 44 of Blake Cannon, the Cannonball, representing LJG Racing. Here he comes. He's going to try to make a move on either the 27 or the 81, but he's a little too far back, Emmett.
Yeah, we got the Cannonball in the Cup Series, according to Mike Joy, which I did not agree with, has the Hurricane and Carson Hocevar. But, you know, you look at this right here. Now, I want to point out Brandon McLaughlin having a great run in that Cole's German beer 81 machine. I had to think about it there for a minute, but now you see him going on the outside of James McRae. Brandon McLaughlin's trying to get to the lead back, and he's trying to get there fast.
Yeah, he sits P6 in the Drivers' Championship. Started this race in P5, so he's already up 2 spots into that last step on the podium where the race ending right now. But luckily for us and luckily for all of you watching at home, it is not. And if you ever had any sort of interest into getting into sim racing, or you want to maybe be like these guys, you want to get out there, you want to feel that simulator feel of iRacing, you're going to need some pedals, you're going to need some wheels, you're going to need monitors, chassis, all that stuff too, because it's a never-ending pocket burn is the hobby of sim racing. We'll see a pass GTE Rosari in the 14, passing Travis Everett. But I say all that to say, go to Apex Sim Racing, man. You can build yourself a bundle there from some of the most popular sim racing manufacturing brands out there. Moza, Sim Magic. I'm personally rocking an Alpha Evo 12 Newton meter from Sim Magic, and the 81 of Brandon McLaughlin was probably rocking something very expensive as well, because what a save that was. Anyway, this was very long to say go to Apex Sim Racing, use code RacerNexus, 5% off, get yourself a little bit of that cheddar change back. But Brandon McLaughlin, that was absurd, Emmett.
Yeah, that was a heck of a save, and definitely gonna put it in the moment book for sure, in the scrapbook for the year. But that's what they're saying on the radio right now. Oh man, Casey Gross in the wall.
Yeah, Casey Gross, he's dropping positions hard. Quantum Motorsport driver, not exactly what you would like to see out of him, as that's going to be the 121 of Kyler Adams getting around him there. Kyler Adams going for an all-chrome setup. It's definitely reflective. I can't exactly read what that is on the side, and I think that might be due to the overload of chrome. Oh, it's Mobile 1. Okay, so I apologize. I probably should have been able to read that. JC Esports driver. He is teammates with your championship leader currently, James McRae.
I didn't know James McRae had a teammate, because we've always just seen James McRae running by himself.
Yeah, James McRae, very, very good for that JC Esports team. Another driver who is very, very good right behind him. It's going to be the 48 of James Johnson. He also did not get the driver information updated on his end, so it still says he is part of LNG's Power Sports, which is now LJG Racing, which he is not a part of. I don't know if he has found a new destination, but James Johnson, if I'm not mistaken, currently a free agent in the Asphalt Oval Racing or League Racing game. So if you guys need a driver, James Johnson, very, very talented. We've seen that already.
Yeah, and one of the huge storylines here in the Tobacco Road Next Gen Cups, in the Tobacco Road Cup Series, you know, we didn't know about it, and we were watching, and then thanks to team owner and driver Joseph Bonner coming in and saying, hey, we changed our name, and when we rebranded, James Johnson we have parted ways with.
Oh!
And we thought, oh my gosh!
Chad Lancaster
Save
into
it!
the back. He is going to get that saved. Who was that he just slammed into?
But Ira Kolos!
Yeah, Ira Kohlhaas going to be around, fishtailing as well. The Bohica Esports driver, currently sitting in P20, now going to be 13 spots down for Ira Kohlhaas. Brandon McLaughlin, Brandon Lopez is now down on the bottom. He's in the grass. He's giving the infield a lawn cutting.
A lawn? I thought you said a lawn job. I was supposed to say, well, technically.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And
no caution.
Yeah, no caution. I'm gonna go back. I want to go back and take a look at this. This is Brandon Lopez. He's on the inside. Oh, it's just gonna be a self-spin. Unfortunate for Brandon Lopez. It's just going to be a self-spin. One car self-spinning. Can't throw the caution for that. It's going to be a very safe and open rejoin as well. So, yeah, no caution. Big shout out to our race control, David Bush III, for being able to see through that. That's going to be a heartbreak for Brandon Lopez, though.
Yeah, and these two are just swapping back and forth. Well, now Irizarry's got some separation, but I tell you, Mac, I was looking at the live time, and McRae would go to the front, Irizarry go to the front. McRae would go to the front, Irizarry go to the front. Just swapping back and forth, crossover was what I was seeing.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Well, Blake Cannon, he wants to get involved in some sort of action that regards the lead. He's already up 11 spots. He sits in P4, started this race in P15. The LJG racing driver on the top side of James McRae now as they head into the start-finish line. They'll be going into turns 1 and 2. In any moment's notice, here they go. The 44, Blake Cannon, looks like he might be trying to prep a move on the car in front of him, being Travis Everett. James McRae might just be left out to dry, and he is.
Yeah, and look at this. Blake Cannon thought about going to the outside, but he goes to the inside. James McRae follows behind him, but he can't get around Everett as he had to lift right there because he got such a run that he would have gotten to the back of Blake Cannon. And James Johnson is starting to blink in and out, Mac.
Yeah, not good. That's going to be one of the downsides of online sim racing here. James McRae was having one heck of a run, but then he almost got bullied off the spot like he was at the park playing basketball. When it comes to Blake Cannon, now he's battling James Johnson, and James Johnson, as we know, not afraid to get his hands out and do a little racing no matter what stage of the race we're in.
Yeah, as we know for sure, you know, you go back to North Wilkesboro, looked like James Johnson was going to win that race and then missed a shift or something and ended up going around before we got to the line.
Yeah, very unlucky. Travis Everett going to skim the wall there. This isn't dirt racing, Travis. Wall tapping does not make you faster here. But Blake Cannon, what a run he was on. He was in 5th just a few laps ago, and now he tries to stretch out to the outside as we cross the start-finish line. He is going to try to mount a move on Travis Everett, but the 13 Mustang, or I got it backwards. He is going to try to mount a move on the 14 Mustang, but the 14 Mustang saying not today. It's going to be GT Irizarry, who just a few laps ago, Emmett, had a very convincing lead, and Blake Cannon has shrunk it.
Yeah, and the thing was, Mac, if you saw that when Cannon got up to the back of Irizarry, he actually got him a little arrow loose. You saw the wiggle from Irizarry, but Cannon was not able to take advantage of it. But look how good that car is on the outside.
Yeah, Blake Cannon has got his car on rails right now. GT Irizarry, calm and collected. He knows there's a lot of racing left. He also knows that we have a stage break coming up in about 16 laps when they cross the start-finish line. So that's going to be our only stage break of the night. If GT Irizarry can just make it there, then he might have a chance to go the distance with Blake Cannon here tonight.
Yeah, Blake Cannon just trying that outside line, just trying to find some grip up there to make the move, but here he goes on the crossover. Oh, he got loose right there, big time, Mac.
Yeah, and that tells me Blake Cannon has used just about all of his stuff up as we have a side-by-side battle here for P3 going on right behind the two gentlemen leading this race. It's going to be Travis Everett and James McRae, going to be Ford versus Toyota, as James McRae looking a little weak right here in the early run, but, Emmett, this seems to happen every single week. James McRae is no stranger to going down the order in the start of the race so we can set up for a big push at the end.
Well, and the thing is, you know, this track is so slick, and, you know, if we look at our weather forecast, what is it, about 80 degrees, I believe?
Yeah, I believe you're going to be right here. Yep.
Yeah, 80 degrees, 79 degrees, 86 track temperature. But when the sun was up, the track was very hot, you know, with how that started. And now that the sun's going down, it's getting a little cooler, Mac. And look at that, 45% humidity. So that's going to add a little bit extra downforce to these cars. And yes, I'm talking about downforce with the Gen 7. You know, you don't think about it that much as we saw with the Gen 4 or the Gen 5 or the Gen 6. But with this Gen 7, just there's not as much downforce. But as you see right here, look, watch Blake Cannon go to the outside trying to make it stick, but Irizarry is just too good on that bottom line, Mac.
Yeah, Irizarry has it. it's almost appalling how much momentum he is able to keep while maintaining that bottom line. You know, that's motor racing one-on-one. That's oval racing one-on-one. If you're on the bottom, yeah, you've got the least amount of distance to travel, but you're not going to have as much speed. You're not going to have as much grip. That's why if you got a car that can really put the power down, you got a car that you can believe in on the exits of the corners, that's why you prefer that top line. But Irizarry is almost mimicking their pace while still being able to keep that inside line in the corner. So somewhere either in the tire saving or in the setup or something, GT Irizarry has struck gold.
Well, and the thing is about this track, it is a multi-groove track. You know, you have where you can run the high side, you have where you can run the bottom, and sometimes you can run the third lane. But the thing is, with this track, as we see Blake Cannon, he's just trying, and that's the thing, Mac. The bottom is rubbered up so much from practice and qualifying. Nobody really ran the outside line, so there's not really that much grip up there, but it's starting to rubber up, as we saw Brandon McLaughlin running the top side. So, as you see right there, there's exactly my point. So as this run goes on, as we're getting close to the stage break, the top line's going to come into play, and that's going to play in Blake Cannon's hands.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Current P2. He is up 13 spots already from P15 to P2. He's only got one more spot to go before he claims victory, but he's got a long road of racing ahead, and he's also got someone who he might have slept on through these first 40 laps. It's going to be the Outsiders Racing number 13 machine of Travis Everett. And man, Travis Everett, he's always one of those guys where it doesn't matter what the situation is, what's the track like, what is the car like, what's the race like, it doesn't matter. Travis Everett is always going to be there. If you make a single mistake, you're going to lose your win to Travis Everett.
Yeah, Travis Everett, like you said, he just waits for you to make a mistake, and then he takes advantage of it. Kind of you know, I like to think like a lion sitting in the weeds, just waiting to pounce.
Well, the drivers of the Tobacco Road Cup Series that do not enjoy how much we apparently, air quotes, show off Travis Everett, there he goes. They're gonna run away with that comment. Blake Cannon now passing for the lead. It's gonna be the 14 versus the 44. They're gonna be side by side. Blake Cannon wanting to get himself up into the lead position here before the end of the stage break. It'll make that restart and make his goal of winning the race and pulling out in front of Irizarry that much easier. Irizarry, we are very, very far away from the end of this race, but if we look back on it all, I think this is going to be a very, very important battle.
Yeah, and the thing is, as you saw Blake Cannon, he was just trying to get enough of a side draft to get up to Irizarry, but if he tries too hard back, with the way these cars are set up, there's a pocket of air around there, and if you get up there too close for so long, the car's gonna go drift up the track, and you're gonna get into Irizarry, and y'all are both gonna go around and could end y'all's night.
Yeah, I agree. Blake Cannon got to be very, very careful here. Lead change is popping off at the top of the screen. Joe Bonner has unfortunately had to go into the pits. This is going to be his first stop. However, he is in. So maybe a little bit of a scheduled stop there for Joe Bonner, making it quick. Not entirely sure, considering we have a stage break coming up. Oh, and the 14 of Irizarry is going to lock things up. That's going to be a lot of spots down for Irizarry.
Yeah, going to be a lot of spots down for Irizarry, definitely.
As we look up back towards the lead, going to be Blake Cannon in the 44. He has completed his mission, and it's only taken him 46 laps to do so. Coming across the line to start lap number 47. Going to be Blake Cannon here at Nashville. You are watching the Tobacco Road Sim Racing Cup Series on Racer Nexus. My name, Mac Nelson. Joining me, Emmett Crow. We are going to have a stage break here in a few minutes, and with that will come a short commercial break. So I just want to prepare you guys for that. Thank you for inviting us into your home here on a wonderful Wednesday night. You are watching Blake Cannon in the 44 LJG Racing Machine, and he is doing basically what he does almost every single week, and that is find some way to lead this race, but we are yellow, maybe going to be an early stage break, as we have Gary Brayland, who has gone around and had a moment.
Yeah, our defending series champion, Gary Brayland, and just trying to get down to the pits and just...
He's going to spin back up onto the track. Oh, no, if he could have kept it in the infield, we would have stayed green, no doubt about it.
And Chris Toppings just came over the radio and said this will be the end of the stage.
So with that being said, we depart you gentlemen and ladies that might be watching for a very short amount of time. You are watching the Tobacco Road Sim Racing Cup Series here on Racer Nexus. We'll be back in just a few minutes. Chase Copeland. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Tobacco Road Sim Racing Cup Series. My name, Mac Nelson. Alongside me is Emmett Crow on behalf of Racer Nexus. Hope you guys enjoyed the advertisement break. We are set to do battle here again in our second and final stage. And Emmett, what has stood out to you so far through this race?
Well, if you want to beat Blake Cannon, I think you take away his outside line. We saw that, but then he looked good. He started using the bottom, and the bottom was coming into play for him. But that 44 car is just, it's tuned in for today for sure.
Yeah, the 44 of Blake Cannon, very, very good. All these drivers did indeed come in, so everybody going to be on level playing field. When it comes to the tire situation, Geico restart zone, here we go. We are green flag racing here again at Nashville. And oh man, what a start the 44 of Blake Cannon has got down on the inside of the number 14 of Irizarry. It's going to be Irizarry versus Cannon to open us up into stage number 2. We are sitting on lap 52 of 140. Drivers mostly going to have 4 sets of tires remaining. That's going to be a ballsy move from the 14 of Irizarry. 44 Blake Cannon forced to run a little wide. That's going to delay Blake Cannon by just a few laps on what he sets out to do, and what he plans to do, Emmett, is win this race.
Well, the thing is, and that's why GT Arizari came over the radio, he actually got into the back of Blake Cannon just ever so slightly, and that's what pushed him up the track. But look at this. James McRae on the inside line trying to get the move, but he's not going to be able to do it, as here comes Blake Cannon on the outside. He'll shoot up in front of him. Now Blake will try to cross him over, Mac, as they go into one.
Yeah, going into one, it's going to be advantage Cannon, but James McRae always has a backup plan. James McRae loves going for that switch back down the back straights. We see it a whole lot as we progress through the season. Will tonight be another installment of it? James McRae, almost like Kawhi Leonard in a sense, where he might not be the fastest, but he is going to get to his spots, and once he gets to his spot, there is nothing you can do about it. It's barbecue chicken.
Yeah, and James McRae definitely looking like the Claw when he comes up and steals these wins away. But definitely, you know, I got to give you a Kawhi Leonard style laugh right there.
Yeah. Yeah, man, that laugh is crazy. Iconic, though. Hey, it brought my Toronto Raptors a championship in 2019, man. Have not been good since, but, hey, the notorious BI3, Brandon Ingram, you got Scotty Barnes, you got RJ Barrett, you got Jakob Pertl. They're all doing their thing over there in Toronto. 416, rep the North. Yes, sir, I'm from Kentucky. Don't let me fool you, but here we go. Blake Cannon making a move.
We got a car going around.
I think it might be Joe Bonner. We'll have to see if the yellow comes out, because if not, we'll have to take a look at it here later, because Blake Cannon is making moves again. He's already up to P2, and look at this. It's going to be the 44 versus the 13. Travis Everett.
Yeah, just gets to the corner panel right there, gets enough of a side draft. He'll get him right here going down here. They'll be side by side, but Blake Cannon's got the advantage as they go into three.
Yeah, Blake Cannon's got his car set on that inside line. He's got the least amount of distance to travel, typically where you would like to be at Nashville here. But with that being said, the banking of these corners, it does allow for multi-groove racing, like you said, towards the top of the broadcast. So as we get a little closer look here at what is exactly going on between the 44 and the 13, we will hold off. We do need to go look at what happened to Joe Bonner here. Yeah, it's going to be a self-spin coming out of one. And he is going to give... Hey, it's only right, man. Somebody gave a mowing to the front infield. Now somebody has to do it to the back of the infield.
Well, and the thing was, when we were watching that incredible battle between Cannon and Everett, I saw it out of the corner of my eye, and that's why I was telling you, because I looked up and I just saw Bonner just spinning violently in the grass.
Yeah, Blake Cannon going to already be out to a half-second lead over Travis Everett. So Blake Cannon, I apologize, clearly has something figured out here, Emmett. He's got a very fast car, and we're 60 laps in. We're almost halfway through, not quite there yet, but based off what you've seen so far, what's your predictions?
I mean, hold on a second. I was listening to the radio chatter, but what I was going to say was it looks like it's going to be GT and Blake Cannon and Travis Everett. Those are going to be the class of field, but James McRae's trying to correct me over that as well right now.
I mean, points leader. We'll pull them back up for your viewing pleasure here very, very shortly. James McRae is leading with 434 points, but only 5 points behind is current leader Blake Cannon. So while James McRae is kind of fighting the rest of the field here, as you see almost 10 cars there lined up single file front to back, but Blake Cannon, he sees this in his rearview mirror. He sees James McRae kind of holding off the field, and he is doing nothing but licking his chops, man. Already up to a second and a half.
Yeah, definitely.
As we take a look back at James McRae, look at him. He's still managing to keep such a good pace there. Such a good just line on GT Irizarry. I mean, GT, when you think about it, he has been very, very dominant. He has been close to 1 or 2 the entire race here. So now we take that stage break right off the back of GT Irizarry actually getting passed by the 44 Blake Cannon. Has GT Irizarry kind of just checked himself out? Is he done trying to compete, or is he just saving his stuff?
I think he's just saving his stuff, but I just want to add that Curtis Preston is up 11 spots running there in P5 in the 28 machine.
Yeah, Outsiders Racing, so going to be a teammate with the 13 of Travis Everett. That helps a lot when you have a teammate here towards the front, so very good on behalf of Travis Everett and Curtis Preston. They're going to be doing very, very good for themselves if they can find a way to kind of get GT Irizarry out of the sandwich, and if they can line up side by side.
Yeah, definitely.
So we take a look towards the back of the grid. Looks like Scott Matthews is going to have something to say about P18. He wants to take that from Kyler Adams. It's going to be Chevy versus Ford, a tale as old as time. As the 7 and 121, they kind of separate. So a little bit of commentator's curse for Scott Matthews. I dearly apologize there, but we do have Brandon Lopez.
Perry.
Oh, Chris Perry has gone off track. We'll have to see if a yellow is thrown or not. But Brandon Lopez mounting a move here for the 81 Kolsch of Brandon McLaughlin. Brandon McLaughlin has his own storyline going on now, though. He is in P7, and there is up to P3 right in front of him, so he is very much in grasp of a podium here as we get set for 75 laps to go, and we have a yellow. It's going to be Chris Perry. That issue has compounded into something bad as Chris Perry will go back. We'll take a little bit of an earlier look at this as Chris Perry comes off for... Yeah, he managed to correct it one time, though, so he went towards the outside. That immediately raises some flags. Doesn't start holding his brakes until a little late, though. That's going to cause him to get back up on track, and because of that, him spinning out, coming to a dead stop pretty close to the racing surface is why we have our yellow flag. Or I take that back, a car facing backwards on the racing surface is going to be why we have our yellow flag.
Yeah, and tough break for Chris Perry.
Yeah, it seems like he is getting very, very unlucky every single week in the Tobacco Road Cup Series. So we have our 4th caution of the night. We are on lap, say it with me, Emmett. 6-7.
6-7. Well, I got told today by my wife that, she's a kindergarten teacher. She said the new thing is 4-1. So, not sure what that's about. She said the same thing, but she said that's what the kids are saying nowadays.
4-1. It can only mean one thing, and that is Dirk Nowitzki, German legend.
Yes.
Marksman, sniper, one-time NBA Finals winner. In one of the best NBA Finals series I think I've ever seen, personally. I am a LeBron is the GOAT believer, but there's no excuse he dropped the ball in that series. But that Mavericks team was not as sorry as everyone makes it out to be. Dirk Nowitzki was a dog, man.
Well, and I don't know if it's true or not, but the rumor is that the point guard from that team, Mr. Jason Kidd, has been let go from the Mavs organization as the head coach. But like I said, I don't know if it's true or not, but it could just be a rumor, but that has been said before.
Well, that would not surprise me, but more to the point, drivers in and out of the pit. You can see towards the back of your screen now, they are starting to file out of that pit lane exit. Top 5 sees McRae, Irizarry, Everett, James Johnson, and Blake Cannon coming out of the pit lane. So we're going to get set to go here, probably about lap 70, maybe 71. But sound off in the comments if you are watching, if you're a personal fan of any of the drivers here tonight. Sound off in the comments. We'd love to hear who you are here supporting tonight. Once again, thank you for inviting us into your homes here on a Wednesday night. Mac Nelson and Emmett Crow joining you on behalf of Racer Nexus. And Man, we're halfway through the season once we get done here tonight, Emmett, and it doesn't feel like it, man. It has been a chaotic and a very entertaining season.
Yeah, it definitely has. And, I want to thank the fans for tuning in because Major League Baseball is having opening night tonight. Many teams playing in the NBA tonight. Of course, my Thunder are playing right now, playing the Boston Celtics. So thanks to the fans for tuning in. And yeah, just like you said, I mean, I can't believe we're already halfway. I mean, we even had a week off?
Yes, I do believe so. A week off has been taken, if I'm not mistaken.
Wow. And it just seems like it's been a whirlwind of a schedule.
Yeah, I mean, you've had everything there is to offer here in the first 10 weeks of this race. And the cool part is, it's going to get even better as we boil down to our last little bit of racing before we head into the chase. But drivers have got one track to conquer, and that is Nashville here tonight. Before we actually get to that halfway point, James McRae going to have the button. He is going to push it relatively late, actually, in that Geico restart zone. So James McRae has found himself in the lead. It's always quiet, Emmett, but he always finds a way to do it.
Yeah, always finds a way to do it. But look at GT Irizarry on that outside line. That's interesting because we saw Irizarry looking so good on the inside line early on, but now he's looking, and look who's up there. Here comes James Johnson. Where did he come from, Mac?
Yeah, I have no clue. He came 8 positions up the grid, apparently. He sits in P4, started this race P12. He's side by side with the 44 of Blake Cannon. Blake Cannon and James Johnson went to war big time in the opening race at Daytona. It was one of the battle for the ages, one of the best battles we've seen through 10 weeks in this season. But don't blink, there's another one that might be transpiring right behind him. Going to be the 81, the 5, the 99, and the 47. They all four want to get right on the back bumper of the 48 of James Johnson, but the 47 of John Smith not only sharing numbers, but also sharing plates and places on the grid, as they're going to be right beside each other. 81 of Brandon McLaughlin going to take that opportunity. James Johnson in the 48 went high. He decides to go low, and coming out of turn number 2, pit exit sign, turn number 3, Brandon McLaughlin. He sets his car to the top there, Emmett, even though he just found a whole lot of success on the bottom. Why would a driver go to do that?
Well, we saw him, and that's what I was speaking with about earlier in that first stage. We saw Brandon McLaughlin ripping the fence for sure, and he had a lot of speed up there, so I think he's just trying to find which line he wants to run that's the fastest. But, I mean, James Johnson has made quick work of that high side. Now he shoots down to the bottom. But, meanwhile, Travis Everett was able to get around James McRae for the lead. And now, look, Blake Cannon also gets around McRae. So here comes Everett and Cannon trying to take the lead away, trying to battle for the lead.
Space Bug coming in the chat, voicing the support for the number 27 of James McRae, the JC Esports driver, currently in first place when it comes to the Drivers' Points Championship. He does not sit P1 in this race, but a P3 finish for him would be very, very good among these titans that he has to battle with every single week. And he stays and advances through silence, through hiding. As you see, he is going to battle with Blake Cannon here, 27 versus the 44. But most of the time, he's always just there to take up the opportunity of someone else who loses their own talent. They step on their own foot, and they have either a self-spin or they run into the back of someone. It seems like James McRae is always there to take advantage of every single situation.
Yeah, McRae is always there, and just like, we go back to North Wilkesboro when we really thought James Johnson was going to win this race, but spun the tires coming to the green, and James, who was there in the right place at the right time? James McRae. So James McRae, no matter where he's at, he's always there at the end, and we saw the pass he made on Brandon Lopez. Still feel bad for Brandon Lopez going for his first win in the series, and just couldn't get it, just got passed right at the line. So Yeah, James McRae, he's a smart driver, and he knows when to go and when not to go. And right now, Mac, he's going.
Yeah, he is going. James McRae, he needs to go as well because he did not have that good of a week compared to the rivals in the championship last week at Homestead. He finished in P5, so that's what allowed Blake Cannon and Travis Everett to, you know, shrink in the lead at the top of the points table. But James McRae, he has a chance to right the wrongs that he might have had last week at Homestead. He's here at Nashville. He leaves that dirty South, heads to the nice, great state of Tennessee. Not as great as Kentucky, might I add. Might be a little biased because I live here, but either way, he comes up north to Tennessee. We're here in Lebanon. Maybe he wants to go hit the virtual Broadway bars after. You never know. Maybe go see Jason Aldean. You never, ever know. But James McRae in the 27, I believe that is a Twitch logo on that race suit that he has on, so yeah, clearly got something figured out. He's got himself a Twitch racing team, and towards the back of your screen there, while I'm yapping about nothing that makes any sort of sense, it's going to be 81 of Brendan McLaughlin and the 14 of GT Irizarry. They had a little bit of contact. GT Irizarry actually hitting the wall, maybe a little bit of damage on that 14 car.
Yeah, and meanwhile, Blake Cannon goes back to the lead after we saw an incredible battle with Brandon McLaughlin and GT Irizarry. And, you know, we were talking about McRae and everything. James McRae, yeah, he might, you know, when we were getting into the track back, I've never seen so many pedal bars in my life. And all the brides and bridesmaids having their bridal parties here, wanted to come watch the race, and glad that they're in the stands for sure.
Yeah, a lot of fandom, a lot of unbridled spirit in the grandstands that day. I have no doubt about it. But if we look towards the front, it's going to be Blake Cannon, who has unfortunately fell into that pocket of he's doing so well towards the front. He's not going to get that much screen time. We need Travis Everett, our alleged poster boy, to catch up to Blake Cannon, give us a little bit of content here towards the front of the pack. But closest battle on track going to be between the Quack Pack driver Brad Harris and the number 8 of Patrick Millette, as I believe we are yellow. Yes. Oh, I hear something bad happening. It's going to be Chris Toppings, Ira Kohlhaas, Chad Lancaster, Scott Matthews. They've all had a big moment, and it starts here. We'll back it up. Oh, I apologize. We'll back it up. All right, now you act like that never happened. Here we go, coming out of turn number 4. They're just going to be fighting for the same real estate, Emmett.
Yeah, and it just looked like, just like I was talking when we saw Blake Cannon running side by side with GT Irizarry earlier. It just looked like Chad Lancaster and Preston were just side by side for too long. And like I said, Mac, that pocket of air comes into play. Oh, man. Was that Oliverio?
Yeah, I think that might have been... No, that was not Oliverio. Might have been... Kyler Adams is who hit the wall, having to swerve to avoid it. That's
Ira Kohlhaas.
Yeah, the 29 of Ira Kohlhaas is going to be the one that got collected in that. That's going to explain all that. And then towards the back of your screen, I don't know if you can see it, ladies and gentlemen. Boom! Going to be a big hit there. Not sure who exactly that was. Chris Toppings. It was going to be Chris Toppings in the 12 car.
But I want you to go back, Mac, and just look at the hit that Kyler Adams took, because that car went off the ground. Watch this impact right here.
As we'll take a look coming off of turn number 4.
Oh, Scott Matthews went around too.
Yeah, Scott Matthews went around. Oh,
boom!
Yeah, Kyler Adams.
Oh, man, bicycled it.
Yeah, unfortunate for Kyler Adams. He is going to have to get that 121 back to the pits ASAP. Oh, no. Yeah, that's a very, very hard hit for the 121 of Kyler Adams.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, that's violent.
Very, very violent indeed. Going to be A big series of pit stops for these drivers. Patrick Millette, Gary Braylon, GT Irizarry, Chris Perry, James McRae, Casey Gross, Travis Everett, Curtis Preston, John Oliverio, GT Irizarry. If I haven't said his name already, I do believe I have. All those drivers are going to be the ones that have pitted, which means we've got 3 drivers towards the front who are still on their last pit lap of 67. It's going to be John Smith, Brandon Lopez, and Thomas McLaughlin. Not to be mistaken for Brandon McLaughlin, who is 2 cars behind him. Between them, in the McLaughlin brand of bread, we have Cannon. Therefore, it is a Blake Cannon sandwich powered by McLaughlin bread. You can see it on the timing tower there. But John Smith, hey man, he had his best performance of the year last week. Can he do one better? Can he bring home the win, Emmett?
Well, and then Thomas McLaughlin, you know, we've seen week in and week out. I mean, I don't think Thomas McLaughlin has finished a race because he's gotten into so many wrecks. And not his fault, but just being in the wrong place at the wrong time. And seeing him up here at P3, that's huge, Mac.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Thomas McLaughlin up 18 spots. He is going to be your hardest charger of the race. Going to be in second, very close behind with 17 positions gained, is going to be your leader, John Smith, who sits pretty in the Nap Daddy Racing 47. As I just now realized that the logo to the left of racing on his grid is a K and a D. That is a very well thought out logo. So props to whoever made that. Very, very good. It's a good looking livery as well. John Smith creeping up to the Geico restart zone. Him and Brandon Lopez. They do see the front. It's not going to be as often as the cars behind them do, so we'll have to see. Blake Cannon already off to the inside. He wants none of this action. He wants to get ahead of these slower cars quick. He is on fresh tires, and he is looking to do everything in his power to get this lead. Blake Cannon, oh my goodness, it is seriously like a cannonball. Kyler Adams going to be off track towards the back of your screen. He is going the right way. We stay green. Big shout out to David Bush III for our race control. 44, Blake Cannon battling the 5 of Brandon Lopez. Brandon Lopez has the older tires. Now, granted, they're going to be warmer here in the start because they have been ran. They are used tires. Blake Cannon is on brand new set of rubbers. So, in that case, Blake Cannon is going to have a little bit of trouble getting away until his tires get warmed and done in, and they start hitting that first real layer of tread. You can really grip up. John Smith not going to have that luxury as well, but he has got to keep Blake Cannon at bay. And, Emmett, if you're Blake Cannon, what's going through your head right now?
Just stay patient. I mean, there's 53 laps to go, so just stay patient, keep your stuff clean, and then when it's time to go, go. But right now, I'm saying no, because you gotta manage your tires. But John Smith is doing a great job, and we saw that at Homestead. And you know, the thing is, this track is a lot flatter than Homestead, but John Smith did a great job. Eventually, Blake Cannon got around him. But these two were going at it during that green flag pit stop cycle. And Smith doing a great job right now, throwing some very aggressive blocks, keeping Blake Cannon behind him. But now Cannon's going to get the advantage going into 3.
Yeah, the classic bait and switch from the 44 of Blake Cannon. And I don't mean to... This is going to be very, very hard to not explain in a cringe way, but the presence, the aura of Blake Cannon made John Smith put his race car to the top, because Blake Cannon around the top side can definitely happen. It has happened multiple times this season. It is in his repertoire. It is in his MO. In doing so, Blake Cannon said, ha, you just took the bait. He dives down to the inside, and Blake Cannon on the inside, I mean, that is almost like a cheat code. A car that quick, you give him the inside, he is definitely going to take the position. John Smith probably in the back of his head, in the deepness of his heart, he probably knew that. So very good on him to kind of make that transaction be as quick as possible. Now he can battle somebody in a little more manageable bracket, Brandon Lopez, on the same tire cycle as him. So now John Smith kind of has a pick in the form of Brandon Lopez, because when Brandon McLaughlin comes through, who is on new tires, Brandon Lopez is going to waste a little bit of his time, meaning John Smith can get away. So with that being said, a whole lot of tire science, a whole lot of strategy, but that just goes to show, Emmett, strategy does indeed pay off.
Yeah, it does pay off, and John Smith did a great job trying to hold off Blake Cannon, but at some point, you know, you either got to let him go or you got to wreck him, and you don't want to wreck him because you don't want to get that reputation. But John Smith did a great job racing him cleanly, and now with Brandon Lopez, I mean, Lopez has got to be thinking, come on, it's got to be my week, you know. He led Talladega until the tri-oval, but you know, it just goes to show and prove that these guys, they all can drive, and it shows their driving ability, as we see John Smith and Brandon Lopez and Brandon McLaughlin all on old tires and doing a great job keeping Travis Everett behind them.
Yeah, doing a very good job indeed. And I want to go just a few cars beyond Travis Everett, who you just spoke on. Brad Harris has had quite a silent race here. The Quack Pack driver currently sitting in P7. He hovered around that 10th, 11th, 12th spot for a majority of this race, but after the stage break, he has slowly gotten to work, and he gets himself up into P7. But, I mean, is it just a strategy thing for Brad Harris, or do you think this might just not be one of his better tracks?
You know, I think it might be a strategy thing, because the thing about Brad Harris is I like to call him the closer, because the thing is, during the start, the middle, he's not very, he runs great. I mean, don't get me wrong, but when it gets down to the closing laps, that's when that 9 car just comes to life. And I mean, right now he's doing a great job. I mean, what is that, P5? P8, excuse me. So he's in the top 10 and very consistent about running in the top 10 course last year. Got the win at Talladega, but he's doing a great job keeping it in the P8 position, and there's nobody around him because James Johnson is several car lengths back.
Yeah, but the unfortunate side of that coin, he is doing a good job holding it down in P8, but GT Irizarry just got around him. So he was sitting in P7, he now sits in P8, and let's be honest, with how GT Irizarry has been running all night, it was probably going to be an inevitable thing. I would not doubt if Brad Harris just kind of seceded the position, because GT Irizarry is on fire, running the exact same lap time as our leader, Blake Cannon. So he's surely going to be moving up the grid. That was the 13 car of Travis Everett, who hit the wall just a tiny bit before setting his car up for entry. So that's going to be a little bit of damage on the right rear. Oh, and Travis Everett just brake checked Brandon McLaughlin. We were not... Are we yellow?
Yeah, Travis Everett just said, sorry, I was in the wrong gear.
As no, we are green. Yeah, we are green flag racing. That was a little absurd, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's what I was saying. Travis Everett came over and said that he was in the wrong gear, and that's what happened, and now they're just chuckling about it on the radio. So I just wanted to clear that up for you, Matt, because it was nothing intentional. He just was in the wrong gear.
Yeah, and I tried to go back and find it. Unfortunately, I could not do so, but yeah, that from a commentator standpoint, that just looked very, very strange, as there's a car just being very, very slow. Now Travis Everett sitting in P4, James McRae right behind him in P5. Blake Cannon already out to a 2-second lead here. 41 laps to go. It'll be 40 to go the next time Blake Cannon, the LJG racing driver, crosses the start-finish line. He heads into turn number 3 now, but with 40 laps left to go, if you're in the mind of James Johnson, you're sitting in P9, you know you can do more. What's the objective? What's the job?
Just keep your stuff clean. You know, you're sitting here, you've had some stuff happen you know, both on the track and off the track with, you know, getting let go from your team, and now you're out there racing by yourself. Just got to remember that, just clear your stuff and clear your mind. Don't think about what happened off the track. Just perform on the track, and he'll be golden for sure.
Yeah, and although Joe Bonner has found himself out of this race, he still has a chance to bring home victory here with Blake Cannon being in the front. Want to give a big shout out to LNG's Power Washing. I'm not sure if the real life, as I apologize, that has gone in the absolute wrong position. Let me get that out of your guys' way. I apologize. We'll flash something who, you know, debatably might be a little better. LNG's Power Washing, there is the card. If you want to look at anything, I once again apologize. I don't know why the move isn't moving where I tell it to, but based out of Millersburg, Pennsylvania, if you need any power washing done, you can go check them out. There is their tags, their email, and their phone number. So very cool for them to hop on board. Also want to give a big shout out to Track Cams for Gourmets. That's trackcams22.com. They provide all the car and track cameras you see here tonight and across all of the Racer Nexus broadcast. They're the reason we bring you cool cinematic angles every single week. So if you're an up-and-coming broadcaster, or you just want some custom cams for, you know, whatever you might do, filmography, videography in the sim racing world or whatever, go visit trackcams22.com. Once again, that's trackcams for Gourmets. Brandon Lopez in the number 5. He's only got a 6/10 of a second deficit down from John Smith, but the 47 of John Smith looking very, very good. He's still on very old tires, creeping up on 50-lap old tires here, Emmett. So, personally, he needs a yellow big time.
Yeah, definitely needs a yellow big time. And, you know, I'm looking at the lap times. Hit the wrong button. Looking at the lap times, I mean, it's not that big of a gap. I mean, yeah, it's 2 seconds, but it's very close. They're both in the 30 bracket, but I mean, Blake Cannon's still running it, which he has the fastest lap of the race so far, even as he's running a 30.55, and John Smith running a 30.69. So, Travis Everett. Oh, there we go. John Smith coming into the pits.
Yeah, John Smith going to be in pit lane. He had to do it. Could not get himself a yellow out in time, but this is going to be good. If we stay green, then in theory, Blake Cannon and the rest of this crew, 1st through 13th, that's Cannon, McRae, Irizarry, Everett, Harris, Johnson, Braylon, Millette, McLaughlin, Casey Gross, John Oliverio, Chris Toppings, and Scott Matthews, all of those drivers, over half of the grid, they are also going to have to stop again if we stay green. And, you know, I don't want to commentators curse it, but these cars are so spread out. You have battles here between GT Irizarry and Travis Everett and James McRae, but, you know, oh no, and I say it, Travis Everett's going to get very, very loose. I hadn't even begun to say the sentence yet, and the commentator's curse almost came true, but what I was going to say, Emmett, is these guys are spread out. I think there's a very, very good chance that we stay green here, and in saying that, John Smith's strategy might be the winning strategy here tonight. Maybe a little bit of Nate Lesko coming out in John Smith.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, he did pit a little earlier. It's going to be close to see how close it really is. But, I mean, he's doing a great job. He is 1 lap down currently, but you know, he's going to get that lap back because, I mean, the rest of the field can't make it on tires.
Yeah, the rest of the field can't make it on tires, nor can they make it on fuel, I believe. We are only running 50% fuel load here tonight in these NASCAR Next Gen cars, Gen 7. They are as...
44 laps is your fuel run.
Yeah, 44 laps. So with Blake Cannon pitting on lap 83, that's going to give him around lap 127 to pit which means James McRae, who has, or sorry, not James McRae, I apologize, John Smith, who has pitted on lap 106. We're only going 140 laps, Emmett, so he can make it to the end now. So, ooh, man, if we stay green, there's a very decent chance it's going to come down to Blake Cannon versus John Smith at the very, very end.
Yeah, and when is Blake Cannon going to come in? That is the call to see when Cannon will come in, and will the rest of the field follow him, or will Travis Everett try to gamble? I mean, there's so much that could happen, Mac, with less than 29 laps to go. So just gotta. Oh, sorry, Irizarry and McRae. I forgot about those. I didn't see them on the. I was looking at the wrong thing. But will they come in at the same time as we saw Lopez come in with John Smith, or what's going to happen, Mac?
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. We're going to have to see. It looks like maybe a little bit of a buddy system being formed here. James McRae is teaming up with Brandon Lopez. They are on different strategies. Lopez is 3 laps down from these gentlemen here that are on the lead lap, but nonetheless, a little bit of a buddy system being created. GT Irizarry and Travis Everett's buddy system, probably a little more hostile than Brandon Lopez's and James McRae's, but GT Irizarry and Travis Everett, if they link up, if we stretch this field out and they link up, they're going to be very, very fast. I know they're competing against each other, but going to be very, very quick.
Yeah, they'll definitely be very quick, and GT's doing a great job. But the thing is, the more that Travis Everett tries to battle him, the quicker those tires are going to fall off. So I think that's why Travis has backed it up quite a bit.
Yeah, and they are also on the same team, Travis Everett and GT Irizarry. They are both on Outsiders Racing, so it's not like they're going to compromise each other's races. However, Travis Everett has said multiple times, maybe GT Irizarry did as well in the interview last week, I can't exactly remember, but they have said multiple times that over there at Outsiders Racing, they are teammates, but they are battling each other. There is no, helping out, sacrificing for another teammate. They both want the win, so they're going to race each other hard. It's going to be very fair. It's going to be very clean. These are two of the top-tier drivers here in the Tobacco Road Cup Series, but regardless if they're teammates or not, you hit the nail on the head, Emmett. If they battle, that's just tire degradation that goes through the roof.
Yeah, definitely. And now we got 25 laps to go. Somebody's coming into the pits. I couldn't hear who it was.
Yeah, it looks like Brandon McLaughlin in the 81 Kolsch car. He is going to bring things in. Blake Cannon still out on track. It's going to be a 6.5 second gap to James McRae. Blake Cannon doing everything in his power to stay out in front here. And just to give you guys a little bit of a timetable, John Smith's last pit cycle was 48 seconds long. Now, granted, Blake Cannon is going to have a little bit less of a pit time than that because he has to get less fuel in the car because he is pitting later. There's less laps to go, therefore less fuel to put in. So his fuel stop is going to be faster. However, is it going to be fast enough to make up for this time that he has over John Smith?
I think it is. I think he'll. We saw this at Homestead, Mac. It's the exact same thing that we saw at Homestead. Like you said, though, it's going to be interesting on how the blend goes. Listen to me, I sound like I'm doing IndyCar. But it's going to be interesting how the blend goes and how the strategy plays out. When does Blake Cannon come in, as we see Brad Harris coming in right now?
Brad Harris going to come in, defending champion Gary Brayland also going to come in. That's going to be a yellow flag. I believe there might have been contact between these two drivers when they came into the pit road.
Yeah, and the one person who did not want to see that caution flag was Blake Cannon.
As we'll try to find exactly what happened. Gary Brayland, and the 9 of Brad Harris spun, and as a result, the 99 is going to lock things up. Wow, very smart on David Bush III, our race control, for deeming that an unsafe pit entrance, therefore throwing the yellow flag. Perfectly fine. That's what we expect. out of a good race control. So once again, shout out to David Bush III for our race control craftsmanship here tonight. Perfectly fine yellow. But if you're John Smith, that hurts a ton. Oh, no. So lap 120. We've got 20 laps remaining now. John Smith is going to be on good tires. They're going to be warmed up. They're going to be used just enough to where all he needs is about a lap, maybe a lap and a half, before they get up to normal operating temperature. Blake Cannon coming in.
Somebody said they were out of gas.
Oh, no. We've got a car out of gas. They've only missed the mark by 20 laps. We'll have to figure out who that is. The speed traps are saying nobody. I mean, nobody's speed is slowing down, so maybe a little bit of
Scott Matthews. Work.
Oh, Scott Matthews in the number 7 has ran out of fuel, and yeah, you can see it. The speed is doing nothing but dropping. It's not exactly going up, so Scott Matthews cruising at a nice 33 miles an hour. He is going to make it to his box. Scott Matthews, what timing. Wow, that's incredible. Blake Cannon now coming out of the pits.
All right, here we go back. That's probably the money stop.
Yeah, that is going to be the money stop. More than likely going to be green all the way through. Obviously, we can get into some late race scuffles, but hopefully we have our last yellow flag here of the night. Going to be our 6th caution here at Nashville, and with only, well, less than 20 laps to go. I don't know what we'll get to by the time pacing is done, but Emmett, what's been your takeaway so far? What's the best thing you've seen? Who would you give driver of the night to?
I'd have to give it to Blake Cannon. I mean, coming off here, you know, after winning last week, trying to get that championship, you know, trying to strengthen his lead in the championship. Blake Cannon has just been on a rail tonight here at Nashville.
Yeah, I do agree. I mean, Blake Cannon's been great. James McRae was great at the start. He's fallen off just a tiny bit, same as Irizarry, and it seems like that is kind of what we see almost every single week from these cars. It's always, you know, Travis Everett or GT Irizarry or McRae or Casey Gross or Brandon Lopez. They'll all have these incredible starts, and we think to ourselves, is this the week that Cannon gets dethroned? Is this the week that someone finally looks to be up to par with him? And unfortunately, that week just has not come yet. I know Blake Cannon hasn't won every single race, but he has been the undoubted best car every single week, week in and out here, as we get set to do battle one more time. Lap number 122, we are green flag racing here at Nashville. Chris Perry gonna have an off track. Thomas McLaughlin, we're yellow. The McLaughlin Squared crew, they have had a crash. Casey Gross has also had a crash. We'll have to go back and see what exactly happened. We're going to try to get up in the Racer Nexus blimp so we can see exactly what happened. Oh, just a classic stack up, man. And the 81 Cole. Oh, man. Yeah.
Yeah, looking like North Wilkesboro here lately, Mac.
Yep, just the classic single file domino. As Blake Cannon, you could tell he wanted to get out and running. He wanted to get these laps over with and done. But more to the point, John Smith, who is going to be on the older tires now, if we can keep getting these yellow flags and he can keep using the fact that his tires are a lot warmer than everybody else's, if he can use that to his advantage and jump a few spots with every single caution, if we have ourselves some scuffles at the end of the race, John Smith could be up there competing for a win again.
Yeah, definitely.
as Blake Cannon in the 44, part of LJG Racing. He sits in P1 currently. Lights are still going to be on the iRacing official pace car. So we'll go at least another lap around Mr. Nashville Super Speedway. Brandon McLaughlin going to go into the pits, I'm sure, to repair some of that damage that he garnered from that last incident. We have a lap car going around the top. That's going to be the likes of John Oliverio, I believe. In the number 42, yes it is, getting himself a lap back, the JC Esports driver. The top JC Esports driver here tonight going to be your championship leader, James McRae. But if Blake Cannon gets a win here tonight, I'm sure that championship lead will be no longer. But James McRae doing a fantastic job here. He sits in P3. He's always quiet. He's always sitting. He's lurking. He's ready for something to go down. He's ready to take advantage of something, I'm sure. So, with Blake Cannon and Travis Everett being the two that are going to be duking it out here as we get to the end of the race. These drivers, they are clean. They are respectful. By no means am I saying they aren't, but they also love to get to racing. They love getting those elbows out. So, Emmett, what's the odds we have a little bit of a crash here between our leading guys because of maybe some over-ambitious moves?
Well, you look at this, and the interesting thing is James McRae is going to line up behind Blake Cannon on the inside. So that's very interesting. And then look at where GT restarts, Mac, on the outside where he loves it. So definitely got to keep our eyes on that for sure and see what happens. And but I just want to add, Chris Toppings at P5.
Yeah, I agree. Chris Toppings, the Quack Pack driver, runner, and owner of the league, I believe. I don't know who exactly they delegate that title to. I'm pretty sure it's Mr. Toppings, but the number 12 of Chris Toppings doing a fantastic job. He got caught up in something very early on in the race. Got that Quack Pack camp to repair that car. He is back out here. He's making a very good run at things. As he sits pretty in P5, we're getting down. We're almost down to that 10 laps to go mark. Going to be fantastic to see what these drivers do. But for now, the iRacing official pace car going to pull in off the racing surface and across the Geico restart line. These drivers will go. Blake Cannon leads them out into the ocean of asphalt known as Nashville Super Speedway. 14 laps to go. We're racing. It's a Wednesday night. It's the Tobacco Road Sim Racing Cup Series.
Yeah, look at this. Travis Everett did not get a great run.
GT Series around.
Oh, man.
Oh, no. And look at that. Like I said, John Smith found his way up. The cautions might keep stacking. I'm not sure if he's going to have to give that spot back, but we'll have to go have a look. Chris Perry has had a moment after the yellow flag, allegedly. As we see the MAV Motorsports driver going. Oh, that's just unnecessary contact between the 34 and the 42. That's going to be John Oliverio. That's, unfortunately going to be zero spatial awareness for both of those drivers, like bulls in china shops. That one shouldn't have happened, Emmett.
No, it shouldn't have, but I think that's on Chris Perry because he had time to slow down, and I think you call that an arc brake, Mac.
Well, I will give him the benefit of the doubt. I'll give Chris Perry the benefit of the doubt. He is on grass, but to be fair, he's not holding the brake whatsoever. John Oliverio did come swerve back onto the track, or back onto the pit lane, I should say. Mm-hmm. That is just two cars under yellow going way too fast, in my opinion. I mean, it's a yellow flag, gentlemen. We got some time. Slow it down. And, you know, I know I'm a broadcaster. I know I shouldn't be giving my opinion on these things. But I swear it all starts in the iRacing official sessions. The people in those asphalt oval iRacing official sessions, 3.5 seconds after the yellow flag comes out, they are spamming their voice chat saying, "Get back up to the pace car! Get up to the pace car!" And so, you know what? That's where it all stems from. I think I sit here every single week, and I do what the kids call glazing, but I glaze the iRacing official service. I do nothing but spit the deepest respects and positive messages towards that service. But I will say, for the old men in the asphalt oval races that think you have to catch up to the pace car 3.5 seconds after the yellow flag flies, no, you do not. And that's exactly what caused this right here, is you guys putting that in their head. So, there we go. That's all I'm saying. Back to the race, Emmett.
Yeah, you got on your soapbox there for a second back, but that's all right. Meanwhile, I was going to say, interesting that John Smith ducked down pit road, probably just to top off for sure.
Yeah, probably going to be the reason. I do agree. Thomas McLaughlin is currently sitting in his pit stall. Same with Brandon McLaughlin. Brandon McLaughlin going to be done for tonight, however, as his car is going to be too damaged to repair. Lights on the pace car are going to be out, I believe. We'll get a better look as soon as the pace car comes into frame. Yes, lights on that pace car are going to be out. We're going to be working on lap 131 as soon as these drivers cross the start-finish line, so we're officially in that 10-lap-to-go range. Going to be a 10-lap shootout here, as GT Irizarry has fallen back to P8. After that, John Smith also going to be in P9, so they did not allow him to keep the spots that he gained. Or actually, I take that back. John Smith actually pitted. So John Smith, on a brand new set of tires, he got, I assume, no fuel, because he would have gotten enough fuel to make it to the end on his last pit stop. So I assume just a tire change for John Smith. We'll have to see if that's going to garner him any presence or any speed over the rest of this grid into the Geico restart zone. Going to be the 44 Blake Cannon. On his outside, going to be the 13 of Travis Everett. Thomas McLaughlin with a black flag, probably entering a closed pit. Not going to matter too much for him, as I don't think he really stands a chance here, being 2 laps down. We've only got 10 laps to go. Here comes Johnson on the inside of Travis Everett. Oh, and that's 99.
Get in the back.
Gary Braylon going to be around, and that's going to be Chad Lancaster as well. The 77 Quantum Motorsports car of Casey Gross as well going to be involved. That is not good.
Man, and I tell you, Gary Berryland is not happy on the radio. Him and Chad Lancaster going at it right now. I wish you could hear this, Mac.
Well, it's probably a good thing I can, as we see Scott Matthews there.
Oh, my gosh. GT Irizarry.
Was that?
GT Irizarry's Chris Toppings.
Oh, no, I apologize.
Drivers.
No, I apologize that we are viewing the wrong incident here. I apologize.
There it is right there.
Yeah, here it is. We'll back it up.
Say, whoa.
Well, yeah, it looked very, very odd to me. The drivers were not in the position I thought they were. So if we try to get a better look here, it looks like, yeah, that's just going to be rubbing and a lot of contact. It looked like it might have been initiated. Oh, as Casey Gross is just going to split the difference there. It does look like Chad Lancaster in that 0-2 might have maybe
look at James McRae
contact.
just avoid it.
Yeah, James McRae barely getting out of
Wow.
that one. Wow, very, very close to a certain demise if you're the likes of James McRae. But defending champion Gary Braylon not happy, allegedly, over the game chat, the race chat. I feel bad saying game chat. A lot of people, you know, I'm sure you know of it. A lot of people in the Facebook groups, this is not a game, it's a simulator. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm not going to get on another soapbox. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. But lap number 133 here, going to be our 9th caution of the night, going to be our 10th restart of the race. So, if you are Blake Cannon, Emmett, you've had your moments. You clearly look like the more dominant car, but with every single caution that comes out, your chance of winning is actually going down. So with that, if you're Blake Cannon, how do you keep your composure? How do you stay in the right headspace to win this race?
Oh, and I mean, you look up in your rear view and your former teammate is going to be restarting behind you, and he can get very aggressive. So I think you just, you're expecting a bump, and you gotta prep for it.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be wild for sure, especially with James Johnson behind Blake Cannon. Does he race him clean, or do we see that LJ and E racing LJG racing, whatever it is, LJG, LJ&E, racing? Do we see that little rivalry keep going between their former driver and their current drivers?
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to say the least. Brad Harris, who I said had a little bit of a quiet night, he has crept up into P4, Chris Topping P5, so he's going to have a teammate there. Millette in that number 8 car, part of LJG Racing as well. See, he updated his driver information. Big shout out to Patrick Millette. He updated the driver information. I thought for a second it might be on me, but nope. Those drivers just didn't do what I asked them. It's okay. Just have it done by next week. I feel like a teacher. Just have it done by next week and you're okay.
And here's the thing. So, Millette was actually the replacement for James Johnson.
So, James Johnson behind enemy lines right now as he sits sandwiched between two LJG Racing drivers. One of those drivers, Blake Cannon, going to have the button here. He is going to push it early into the Geico restart zone. And look at this. It's the 44 and 48. Going to be, oh my goodness, almost touching. 6 laps to go. Chris Topping's going to wash up. That's going to make Brad Harris have to compromise his line. It's going to be 3 wide, however. GT Irizarry getting the better of it on the bottom side of both the 12 and 9. John Smith is now here. You cannot forget about him. The 42 of John Oliverio in the back trying to get his name inserted into this picture. It's going to be GT Irizarry versus Brad Harris across the line. 5 laps to go. Blake Cannon has built himself up a tremendous lead in the span of 1 lap over James Johnson. Travis Everett likes the line that James Johnson was taking, so he said, you know what, I'll just have that. James Johnson getting harassed off of that optimal line, and Travis Everett has 1 goal in sight, and that is to catch Blake Cannon. However, the 48 of James Johnson coming back, he said he will not leave for free. We've got to spin towards the back. We'll have to see if the yellow flag comes out. It's going to be John Smith who is off track after a great day. Alternative strategy for John Smith. He is going to find himself with a meatball flag as well. He's driving up into the track.
Caution.
No, John, get off the track.
I don't think he can.
Oh,
I don't think he can.
no.
They got to throw a caution flag.
No, he had it down to the bottom. He's staying on the track. He went around turn 1 and 2, and that was his choice. That's his choice to stay out. He had the pit entry there last time around. Here comes Blake Cannon around turns number 1 and 2 down the back straight. Heading into 3, he's got a very big lead over James Johnson here in P2. Travis Everett trying to work his way around James Johnson. 2 laps to go. John Smith has got it into the pit lane. So if these drivers make it back and around one more time, we will be official. It's going to be the white flag. 2 laps to go for now, though. Blake Cannon has 2 more times making around this circuit here at Nashville. Travis Everett with the pass on James Johnson. Looking now to the inside of Everett. It's going to be James Johnson in that Lowe's number 48. He's going to have almost no speed as here comes Irizarry on the bottom as we get to the white flag. Travis Everett going to be in P2. Blake Cannon obviously going to be your leader. It's a 1.18 second lead for Cannon over Everett. Now GT Irizarry. We call Blake Cannon the cannonball, but it truly looks like Irizarry has been shot out of a cannon. In P3, can he improve on where he finished last week? Travis Everett needs to get this defense done, but towards the front, Blake Cannon for the 2nd week in a row, and now your championship leader. He also wins at Nashville. Everett in second, Irizarry in third, Johnson spinning around in fourth, Patrick Millette, LJG as well, coming in P5. So it's going to be 2 cars in the top 5 for LJG Racing.
Wow, what a race.
Whew. Yeah. You're telling me. Look at Irizarry getting sideways. It's also going to be 2 Outsiders Racing cars, the 14 and the 13 in the top 5. So the lone guy out, James Johnson. Could have been 3 LJ and G.
And they're trying.
Wow. Wow, what a fantastic race we saw here tonight. And the opportunities are endless now for GT, Irizarry, and Travis Everett in the fight towards Blake Cannon. And this man who finished in P7, James McRae, in the number 27 car. Unfortunate end to the day for him. He loses out 4 positions. Started this race P3, ends it P7.
Wow, that was crazy, Mac, for sure.
Yeah, that was a very, very wild race, man. And I mean, you knew it was going to happen. By the time we hit lap 100 and all 5 of those guys were just so fast, it seemed like every single lap, another one of them was the best car out there. And when you have races like that, you know it's going to be close. You know it's going to be chaotic.
Yeah, it's always going to be chaotic, and that was an unbelievable race, though. Congrats to Blake Cannon on going back-to-back.
Yeah, Blake Cannon going to be leading the championship now, surely, as we head to our latter half of the season. And speaking of, we've got him in the waiting room. Why not just go ahead and interview our 2-time winner here in the last 2, going to be back-to-back dubs for the 44 of Blake Cannon. Blake, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing good, man. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic, especially after I got to watch that race, man. Walk me through it. You were so fast through all the stages of this race, but once we got down towards the end, it looked like the field kind of crept back up on you because of the looping amount of cautions we got. How were you able to just stay composed, stay sharp-minded, and get the win?
Yeah, just kind of fortunate. I think I let Travis, he rolled me pretty good one restart, and, I knew I couldn't let him do that again. So, everybody did a good job. I think the cycles on the tires after the restarts kind of kept everybody a little bit closer. I knew once we got about 5 laps in, my stuff kind of came to me. I don't know. I was just really good on the long run. I was just really patient in the center of the corner. Tried to roll the yellow line, and a lot of guys couldn't do that. So I don't know. This wasn't one of my favorite racetracks, but glad we were able to get the win.
Yeah, you did a very good job out here. Championship leader, more than likely, because of James McRae's P7 finish. Now, knowing that, you start the second half of the season next week. We go to Richmond. What's that going to be like, and is that somewhere you're excited about? Do you think you can maybe go with a 3-peat here on your Tyler Reddick?
And I actually love Richmond, so I hope so. But the points don't matter at this point. Obviously all the drivers look at them throughout the week, but it's not going to change how I race or how I race anybody around me. So, there's a couple times where I could have been a little bit more aggressive tonight, and I kind of let things play out. And there's a couple times where I thought I was going to get wrecked. So, I think you got to be really patient in these races, and sometimes they're going to fall in your lap. So hats off to Travis. Good job to GT for able to rebounding. Good job to Patrick, my teammate, for his top 5 tonight. Just really excited, man. Really, really happy to get this win, and hopefully we can carry some momentum into Richmond and get another one.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. It's been a blast watching you. It seems like you're a rocket ship out there on the track. We'll let you celebrate your second win in a row here tonight. But before we do, is there anybody you would like to shout out or thank for the performance here tonight?
I just got to thank everybody. Everybody.
As we had a little bit of technical difficulties, please continue, Mr. Cannon.
My bad. Yeah, I just got to thank everybody on my team, LJG Racing. I know Joe had a rough night, but man, yeah, I can't thank him enough for bringing me on board and allow me to go out there and support him and try to get good results for him. And can't thank everybody at Tobacco Road Sim Racing. This is a hell of a league and really fun. I mean, so many guys are good. You've got Brandon, you've got John, who always play different strategies but always find their way up front. Then you've got the three heavy hitters with GT, Travis, and then obviously James. So it's a blast racing with them guys, and they only make me better. So thanks to them, thanks to the admins, thanks to Race Control, and thanks to you guys at the broadcast for everything that y'all do.
Yes, sir. Well, we appreciate the kind words as always. That's going to be your back-to-back winner. Got it done in Homestead last week. Gets it done here tonight at Nashville. New championship leader as we head into the second half of the season, number 44, LJG Racing driver of Blake Cannon.
Thank you, guys.
And now we switch gears. Emmett, I do believe that you are sat with GT Irizarry.
GT Irizarry, it says back-to-back winner, but talk about this second place finish, man. How do you you're getting so close each and every week. How do you feel about your chances next week at Richmond?
About the same as I did this time. And actually we ended up P3. Travis got P2, but he had to go.
Okay. All right. Well, congrats on the P3 finish. Back-to-back top threes. How do you build on that with your momentum and outside of racing?
Momentum's obviously good. We'll take it. I mean, we just got to keep ourselves up there in the points and stuff like that to have a chance. I mean, right now it's just, I don't know. I thought we had a really good chance here, and then the car just kind of went away. So I'm just glad we were able to catch that third spot on the last lap right there.
All right. Well, before we let you go, is there anyone you'd like to thank out there?
I appreciate you guys in the booth. Tobacco for putting it on. Guys coming out on track. Good win there, Blake. That's it, guys. Hopefully we'll talk to you next weekend.
All right, brother. We'll see you next week at Richmond.
Tempo.
Mac?
Yeah, that is going to be P3 finisher GT Irizarry. Going to be very good for him in the point standings. He's going to be catching up to James McRae and ultimately your new leader, Blake Cannon. It was a fantastic time out here at Nashville Super Speedway, but before we say our departations, we must go through your results here for tonight. Going to be Blake Cannon, who led 72 laps. Travis Everett going to be in P2. GT Irizarry bringing it home P3. Hard Charger going to go to Patrick Millett, who finished P5 for LJG Racing. He started in P20. Most laps led, obviously going to go to Blake Cannon, our winner. Fastest lap also going to go to Blake Cannon. But Travis Everett was indeed our pole sitter. He could not get it done, unfortunately. Just one spot down in P2. And then James Johnson going to claim that best of the rest spot in P4. And then Millett, Harris, McRae, defending champion Brayland, Oliverio, and Matthews going to make up your top 10 here tonight. Emmett, before we depart, is there anything you want to say before we get out of Nash Vegas here?
Nash Vegas. Crazy race, and great to be back here doing the Tobacco Road. And I don't know, Mac, this might be Blake Cannon's year.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I agree. We're supposed to be impartial here in the booth, and we are at the end of the day. We're going to give our love to every driver who deserves it. However, Blake Cannon has been on fire. James McRae is Mr. Consistency, but here in race number 10, we finally saw a weak side. Going to be a P7 for him. But, hey, next week at Richmond, it's going to be anybody's ball game. Well, that's going to do
definitely.
it for us here in the Racer Nexus broadcast booth. As always, Mac Nelson, joined by good friend, good partner, Emmett Crow, who's always coming in with the track side intel every single week. If you need your league broadcasted, hit up my boss man, Rob Campbell. We talked about him towards the top of the broadcast. He is who you need to get in contact with if you want your league broadcasted or anything like that. You can also find the link for the Tobacco Road Sim Racing Series Discord. You can find their Discord in the description of this live stream. If you want to get yourself involved, maybe come out and race some NASCAR Next Gen. You'll be able to hear me and Emmett talk about your very good or very bad driving, depending on how you are. If you're anything like me, it's going to be very, very bad. But we've got some shows coming up across the Racer Nexus Broadcast Network. Friday, we've got myself, Zach Amspacher, and James Watson, I apologize, going to be on the Special Stage Pro Truck Friday series. You can also catch the Apex This Mazda Sunday series with me and Rob on Sunday. You can also catch the Breaking Bad GT3 series on Saturday. That's going to cover up your next few days. You're going to want to take a look at that. All fantastic series. Ladies and gentlemen.
The ECRL too, Sunday afternoon starting at 3 Eastern.
Yes, sir. So go see that. ECRL. Emmett Crow going to be in the booth for that one, I believe, right? Are you on that one?
Yeah, I'm on that one. Me and Adam Gladfelter are on the call. I think it might be 4 Eastern, 3 Central.
Well, either way, go view all those great racing experiences. But for now, we must sign off.